All right, definitely a little past due for a weekly update. It's been a crazy few days all along this range. I was hoping to get something a little more definitive for you guys too, so I was putting it off a little bit. Um, but it is what it is, and structure is doing what it's doing. And right now, I feel like it's teetering. Up until this point, everything remained quite bullish on our midterm, short term, and high term time frame structures, which made longs very easy. We played a lot of them up. We got a few scalp shorts in, and that's really what we were focusing on. Then we had the big deleveraging rip, and then we had another one almost as large in stopped out longs, at least in terms of volume, but not quite as deep a candle. Obviously, we're getting more of that too. There seems to be a lot of combating in this range for whether or not we're going to break another high. It puts us right here at this volume point of control. Um, and we have yet to really successfully retest this value area high from the prior range. That's really where I'm looking right now. If we can break above that, then I'd say we're out of this range again. After dipping back in, we can get out of this range and either form a new one above with these tops that we have in place, or move on to our target zone up here at 113, 113.5. Along the way down, I think we lost along here, and then I took another one a little bit lower, but we backed out with a very minor loss. No, we backed out over here with a very minor loss right before this rip. So we did catch. I did catch this kind of incoming, especially with this candle close. I was like, no, nah, that's it. We're not coming back up. Closed out the long and headed down way past where my stop would have been had I let it ride. I had flirted with the idea of longing down here. We had a setup in the channel, but I'm not super comfortable with this structure yet. So I haven't taken it yet. You can see we're still forming. This is a higher low, but we haven't broken a higher high yet. It looks like we're just kind of consolidating in here on this VPOC, volume point of control from the entire range. My thoughts are, honestly, I'd love to see the low end of this tested again. I think this is going to extend out into a longer range. Um, so if we came up and rejected here, then we could be looking at the lower part of this range. We haven't really tested the bottom in a while. I think that could be our, climb our wave down into the lower end of the range and then come back up into a much larger 4-5. And that could possibly be what brings us up to our last wave 5 target. Um, we pull up a different chart. You can see we're still in that range. Not this one. That one's complete. This one here, right? So get that back down, right? So we're still in this wave 5 range. You can ignore this. This was another idea I'm playing with. Well, we'll get back to that as well. But this could come down into that lower part and then come back up. Maybe not quite that high. It's kind of my upper limit, that 205. But maybe about, I was looking around 213, and we could go higher. There's still some room left, but I don't think in here is a whole lot of opportunity left. I think that's stretching the top of this run, and we may be done with it now. And if we are, and we start breaking out of this channel in here, then we could instead, reject towards the top of the channel and come back down and complete this pattern that we have here. This bar area is our PRZ, right? So breaking below these PRZ levels, um, maybe we find them as support. We could blow the pattern out, but if we break, we hit it, bounce, and break under, then we come down into our target range. And our target range, see our PRZ range. Let me go get some numbers out here for you: 90,000 to 86.5. And then our target range, our first target is 76 398, and that could be as far as it needs to go, to test the upper end, of this prior high, this prior range. We could be testing that range for support, which would be really bullish if we did at 73,000. That'd be fantastic. I'd love to see it hit that, maybe even dip in a little. We could hit this descending trend line if we went all the way to our bottom target, which is about 65,000. I can pull this out a little bit. You can see that we could break below that and then hit this descending target instead. I'm not going to count these in. These are done now, right? So this prior pattern we had, okay, yeah, this 4 hour. Let's go into at least a daily. We're looking at these higher time frames. So this prior pattern that we had here, right, this larger one, that got a target one, and that's all it was able to do. We blew out past the hop up here on this last wave 5. So I'm not counting this anymore. In fact, I'm going to take this off. I can take that out, and we'll rename some of these down in here. Just keep an eye on them, because this is, well, the blue range is still applicable for support and resistance. I might stretch that up a little bit to cover. All right, because we came down, hit, and then now another hit as support. So we'll pull that up, and we can get rid of bear target because it's not a target anymore. And in fact, let's go ahead and just leave that white box to clear up some confusion. All right, so this is our pattern support level. So if we get really bearish, I mean, I don't mean really bearish, but we get very corrective, right? We could have another structure like this one back here, where we curled up and came in for that lower high, and that was all it could, right? Because you see it starting to struggle here, came down under, came back to retest, couldn't hold, and broke. And we can draw that trend line. I'm sure everyone's analyzed this thing to death by now, because it's part of the whole thing. You can draw those trend lines, expanding, and then the failure to reclaim, and then the fall. Could we do it here? Yeah, we could do it here. That's a little steep. In fact, maybe we just draw it from here, right? Or we have just this wick down doesn't count. Now we're right now sitting on that one. We come down, fail to reclaim, back into there, and then fall back through. I'm gonna take this one out. I don't like with this move up. I don't see no more touches on that one coming along. Let me delete that. Where did my Never mind. Play that later. All right, let's get back to our main chart, our smaller time frame chart. Get back into that 4 hours. Although, actually, I'm going to pull up the weekly real quick, because this on the weekly could be our signal that we have topped. We do have HSI crossing back out of overbought, and we have bearish divergence. These red dots up here at our fancy RSI, our TD RSI. So we do have that divergence forming, and that could be indicative of a larger retreat. Now, I'm still thinking that our larger retreat is going to be more limited into. Let me get out of the weekly because this looks ugly. I think it's still more limited into this space for this range. At the very least, I think we could find some support. I think the next level I'm looking at, because this has been so weak so far, unless we form a higher low that isn't this wick. I don't like these wicks. We form another higher low, like a little curve, maybe a little slower one, then possibly look to lift up out of here. And then this is all just a big scare. And these are just buying wicks, big buying tails. If we break below, my next area of support is going to be here, right about the lows, right in that $90,000 range, all the way from like 90 and a half to 90 flat even. Um, I could put a box on there, in a range here. We catch that VWAP, this major VWAP from the low here, which is my favorite one. This is probably the strongest one we've got for support currently, hitting there at that volume, the value area low here. That is and maybe even coming down to take out liquidity here and here under both of these wicks. I mean, this one took out this one, right? So we could do it again, take out another one because people are going to have stops here, this value area low. We just wick down under, take it out, and then go. That would be ideal. We can catch down here instead on that daily. That's going to be our last bastion of hope, is to stay in this range. So that's my plan for Bitcoin. If we form some bullish structure up here, I may take a long. We can invalidate under these wicks. I don't have one yet, so I hate to draw something up here just because I don't want someone to take it. But let's say we'd put that under this wick, and then we'd run this. Ideally, our final target would be up here at our wave 5 target. And for structure, we want to see something more akin to this, right? So that would be our ideal structure if we want to remain bullish up in this area, up in this range. We could come in, form that higher low. We'd see that, have a higher high, higher low. If we see that starting to buy back up, we could use that as our launching pad. And then it could be either the low that it forms, or we could put, a more conservative stop under these wicks. And then we have a 6-to-1 ratio. That's pretty good risk reward ratio. So I'd be happy enough with that. We take some profits here at these levels as we take out these highs. Easy peasy trade right there. Otherwise, I'd want to look for support in this range without breaking that low. Or if we do wick under it, say we come down wick and take out the daily, I want to see it break back into this value area low. And then we could take it, put the stop wherever it needs to be. We could bring it all the way back down to the daily, right? And we're still about 6-to-1 risk reward ratio. Our targets would remain the same because we're still counting on that 4 or 5. I don't think we lose that 4 or 5 scenario until we start to run under here. I could probably, let's measure this out real quick because we have, looks like a couple of 1-2s. Let's go with our more conservative 1-2. There to here. Yeah, we don't want to hit this. So we don't want to come down into 76. Ideally, I think we'd stay up here. We could drip all the way down to 80,000 at wave 4. I think would still be valid. If we hit this, I say it's too big for a wave 4, and we can we'll have to address major bear structure, I think, corrective structure anyway. After that, and I say major, but really in the larger time frames, it is still corrective. We are still longer term. We are still bullish. So that's Bitcoin. I had a lot to talk about there. The Qs, less so. But look, right now we have hit our butterfly, and I'm talking about a crab here, but we've hit our butterfly target. So our butterfly is active. No indication that we're launching up into the crab. You see, we got our on the 4-hour here. Let's move into the daily because I want this on a daily chart. I feel like this is more applicable as a daily pattern. We are curving down. We didn't get an overbought either on the RSI or on the HSI. And I wish we had. Would have been a little firmer, but we got 2 candles down. If we get one more daily candle tomorrow and close out this gap, right? That's the idea for me. We close out the gap at 516 tomorrow. Close tomorrow bearish. Then we look for a mid flip as we come back up, right? Hit this, come back up to test the highs again, And if it looks weak, then we move down into targets on this pattern. Targets for this pattern, let's pull them up, take that off. So targets for this pattern are here at the 382 at 487, down into the 618 at 462. I can take this off now, clean it up a little. So we're looking to head into that box. The structure I want to see on the cues is close that gap, shorter high, ideally with smaller high, make that M formation, right? And then come down and start testing support levels. And we have some support levels down in here, right? And we could come down and hit them. And I hope we'll see. Yeah, we could run this in a year. That makes sense, right? Because look, people in tax sheltered funds might be taking profits now. But like I said before, and I'll maintain it, I'm still fairly bullish. Still fairly bullish to the end of the year. Beginning of the year, you get into that area where you can start, right? Probably start a little early. People start bailing. End of the year, they take those profits out, because they don't have to report anymore, right? They can get off their taxes. Now we come down in here like this, and then what have we got, right? So now maybe we come back for a type 2, break under, and start hitting that target 1. That gives us more patterns. Like this could be, that deadly first of the year stuff. Yeah, well, let's just, start forming bullish patterns here off of that, come back up, maybe down again to fill target 2, maybe target 1 is all we get. That's my path anyway. That's what I'll be watching for. I don't trade on speculation like that. I always trade on price action, because price action is happening now. Speculation is what you think may happen in the future. And hey, maybe I've got a crystal ball in my own head, but I it's never made me any money that way. So trade the price action, okay? Don't go off of, but what you said it might do this, because you know I can always be wrong. We haven't hit the hop level yet on the SPY, but the SPY is much more bullish looking than the Qs still, in my opinion. Now, they've been launching continual higher highs. We are kind of chipping out on this upper wedge. We can draw that out, man. We got that quite correctly. Coming up into the hop, that's my top level. If we extend past the hop too far, uh, ideally not past this 2113 level, 260, 626. Ideally, we don't go much past that. If we can wick a little bit above it, we start to climb above it, and this whole pattern, this whole bearish pattern, is invalidated, and we're just on some strange tear of price action, which is bizarre looking, but hey, stranger things have happened. Yeah, we could be kind of ascending wedge from here. If you like your geometric patterns, it's kind of tightening out. Maybe we come down a little bit with like we said, with the Qs, and then the SPY comes up for one more attempt. We get close, at or close to 618, and then that falls down too, and we can fall down into this range of support, or this one. Ideally, if you want this pattern to play out, we do need to break this PRZ range here at 555 to 542. If we can't do that, then it's not going to happen. So take these out. Sorry, it's dark in here. I can't see my delete button. I didn't want to say that was the problem when I was looking at Bitcoin, but that's what the problem was. I'll just go ahead and fess up to it now. My old eyes. The Qs are also trading in that wedge. It's really respecting it too. I don't have pattern support for them anymore. The Qs did blow out their pattern. They did. They hit the 618 and they launched. They continued up. We didn't get enough reactionary movement, so I just called that one out. It was done. We're gonna have to go. Sorry, the Dow Jones, not the Qs. The Dow Jones. So I'm not interested in trading the Dow Jones right now. I'm much more interested trading the Qs and the SPY, because I have pattern support. That gives me better targets, gives me better structure to work with. Can't tell this structured chart I've had out here it's been great. Like, I've been saying higher and higher and higher. It just keeps going higher and higher and higher. We are now at that inflection point, especially with the Qs. Now I'm very interested in the Qs because not only do we have our large weekly pattern, we got this smaller daily pattern as well. That's double that. I mean, look, and we are trending up and bullish, so they are more prone to fail. The bearish patterns are more prone to fail on the way up than the bullish patterns are on the way down on these larger charts because the markets tend to continue to move up. So you're going to invalidate more bearish targets than you are bullish targets. So I want more than just structure. I want more than just patterns. I should say. TMF, nice reaction down here. Didn't get all the way down to the bottom. I was kind of hoping it wouldn't, so that's fine with me. We've found enough. A little bit of a high here, close out some gaps. I'm hoping it curls back and takes out some more up on the top. I still think this is in an accumulation range, along with TLT. I won't. The TLT chart is almost the same. Only TLT is had. This is a higher high and that's a higher low because TLT doesn't have the same funding fees that TMF does. It bleeds out the price. As long as we can hold this and stay back in this channel, I think we can break out up. I think that could be our hedge play coming into play. Maybe the markets turn down and bonds turn up. Finally, bonds have been struggling for so long. Maybe they finally get their day. It'd be great. Otherwise, yeah, I'm going to do some more with stocks. Um, Either later tonight, maybe tomorrow. That'll be a members only. We'll do stocks. If you guys want a quick glimpse, look, our dumpster dive is suffering today. Market was really down. Our bargain blue chips, everything's just about everything's been bleeding out. The bargain bin with Walgreens leading out the bargain bin. I had pretty much given up on Walgreens, but look at that. Maybe it's a Walgreens W. I think they're under talks right now of getting bought by someone else. I haven't honestly traded Walgreens in a while, so maybe they'll do well. Hope they do well. It's just not something I've been in. Nobody else on the market looking too great. Pretty much a red day for the most part, all around. And then we have the altcoin faves, which honestly, guys, I look at this as, and look, they're already starting to recover. This has been buying opportunity. We've had patterns on the daily on a lot of these crypto that we've been watching, calling for this retreat, right? Even hitting value area highs and failing under. Maybe come all the way down. Maybe we continue to drip, and Bitcoin continues to drip. We can come down into this volume point of control on SCI, and then find that as support, and that'd be another area where we could use to lift off. Uh, One other thing. Oh yeah, when did we do go over here? Let's go over that Bitcoin dominance again and see what we're doing. Because look at this. We've hit our anchored VWAP after falling out of our channel, and we're back in the channel fighting with our descending anchored VWAP. So hopefully Bitcoin dominance can find, and this is what I'd like to see, can find support at the bottom of this channel instead of coming down to hit this level that we talked about before, right? We hit that level right there. Wicked through it just a little bit, 54.8. Got that one as support. Came back up. I'm hoping we come in and do at least a mid channel, maybe back up here to this 60%, and then crash down. So this is going to be that bleed out of Bitcoin or maybe all the alts. Everything just kind of suffers. We get that low. We come back up for that last high on Bitcoin without eating too much on the alts, right? Because the alts had a lot of gains. Maybe they climb as well. And then as Bitcoin finds its top, it plunges, but the alts continue to run. That would be a great altcoin season. Be toppy for Bitcoin, sure, but we could even come down, I think, and test these highs at 48%, though I'm initially looking around 50 to 51. Anyway, I think that's going to cut it for now. Yeah, we've hit all the key points, I think. And I'll see you guys next week. Members, stay tuned. I'll get that video out either tonight or tomorrow afternoon. Or tomorrow morning. I've got another day. It's only Tuesday. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys later anyway. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.